So we arrived to Saltivka. Now we are going to enter the neighborhood itself, but in order to get the security measures, we are taking our vests. And this is actually the first time I am taking the vest in a real mission time. That's a really serious stuff. Now we are good to go. This is so surreal. Like from the movies in the Armageddon, guys. This was the car washing place. Probably some shopping mall. Cars completely destroyed. Still staying here for quite a while. The building is burned. It's much worse than everything I've seen before. Russian forces were coming from the north, from here, as I understand. Like basically just for the first day or two, the Russian forces were here, and with the local resistance of volunteers of Ukrainian armed forces, they were pushed back very hard. So the result of the destruction we see around is rather artillery fire coming from the vicinity of Kharkiv, and not the active combat here itself. So just imagine, guys, the events that actually were coming here. It was a lively shopping mall with some cars peacefully parked over here, and eventually the artillery attack is arriving. Probably people were running away. Some of them could be in the car, some of them simply hide inside. And once it starts dropping, it's the pure hell. Let's come closer. So this car is completely flipped from the explosion wave, yeah? Then it looks like one of the missiles came down here. I'm not sure what happens to this car, but it's badly damaged from the explosion waves as well. And the buildings around, just take a look, like these large Soviet towers. And just for you to understand the scale, the destruction, is that whenever I'm looking on a dozen different buildings, and every single of them has really tough damage. So half of the buildings are burned down, and unfortunately, as I heard, in this neighborhood some residents still actually live. So after seeing this overview, we're gonna try to go inside to see what's happening actually there. Maybe we'll try to speak to local residents. We bring some aid to them as well. But what I want to stress out is that currently in the world, this is probably the most badly damaged neighborhood where it's still possible to access. Obviously, Mariupol, we don't know exactly what is the level of devastation, but this at least gives us the idea what could happen there. So you might be wondering, like, what is the logic behind it? Like, why this area is more damaged as comparison to the others? Well, Saltivka is the northern suburb of Kharkiv. Basically, this neighborhood seen the Russian invasion firsthand in the early stages of the war. And another reason, so obviously there were some heavy fights happening here. And another reason is that once the Russian forces were pushed back from Kharkiv, this area in the north stayed within the artillery range. So they were able to continue firing up here, even though the area itself was not under Russian control. And once you cannot get what you want, you simply don't leave it to anybody else. And this is the real face of Russian world. This is the real face of true liberation, as they tell. There's my operator, Dmitro. The journalist's work is very important, and I would like to thank Dmitro to all the video editing. Actually, this is the guy who makes the magic out of all of my messy talks on the video. Yeah, thank you, Dmitro, for joining us on this trip. Let's continue our trip together. Another press guy, colleague.
Careful. Mind my legs.
Okay, let's go. Okay. We are entering inside, guys. So, welcome to Saltivka. You see some trenches, see some destroyed, burned vehicles still over here. The green car, what you have seen, is the humanitarian aid. Yeah, but this part of the road is destroyed, so we have to take it over, guys. And some people over here, they are packing stuff. Vegetation here is very, very wild. There are some canals, a lot of green stuff, and look, I see even there some ducks inside, just enjoying their time. Well, enjoying is probably not the good word to sell, but definitely with the less presence of people inside, there are much more other creatures. And with our press officers, we continue exploring Saltivka. You can see this building, all of them have some kind of damage. Trees are laying down because of the explosions. And actually, look, the bricks here are pretty new. Some of them are damaged, but otherwise it was a normal way to go. This is one of the biggest destructions we can see in one of the buildings. Really reminds me of Borodyanka near Kyiv. You can see that the blast was really massive, and from here you can clearly see it's coming from the north, basically from there. I can see it's written Люди, which means people, indicating not to shoot. And there are still some explosions happening around. Wow, 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 wow. Here you can also see even the houses from the inside. Take a look, you see the working desk, the chair, some part of the shelves, and this like water pipe system is simply hanging. Crazy, yeah? Also, guys, take a look at the structure of the building. You see that there are like these large panels that they are hanging. So basically, most of the buildings that were constructed here during the Soviet time have this kind of panel structure. This is not a good quality building because the main idea in the Soviet Union was to accommodate as many people as possible. Definitely the cost for this was a value. And now when I'm hearing about the ideas of future reconstruction of different areas, there is like a discussion to make the official policy, if some kind of panel building was a little bit even damaged, it had to be built completely from scratch, not obviously as the panel structure itself. However, those that were built of bricks are subject to a renovation and reconstruction. What can you tell about this place?
This looks like a place of apocalypse. It's really horrified to see the level of destruction. Basically, the whole blocks are completely destroyed, and there were some people living there, but obviously the buildings are burned out. The level of destruction of one of the building is like it looks like an unlivable space, and who knows for how long it's gonna take to recover this.
You can see people taking humanitarian aid over there. The bus just brought aid, and yeah, there is some help. And the worst is that the scale is simply huge, guys. Yes, this is a tremendous neighborhood, and from what I see, every single building has some kind of damage. Kharkiv did a great job in protecting eastern part of Ukraine, but the cost is simply too high, as you can see, and it's even hard to imagine when the life can be brought back to this area, because I've seen many post-conflict zones around the world, And it's, guys, it just takes much more time than people expect. Many of them would like to come back home, but once they are here, they realize my apartment is blown up, nothing left, there is no water, no other utilities that sustain the buildings, and the architects of future generations will probably have a lot of work to do. Actually, at the moment, even though there are some shootings on the vicinity, it feels much more calm, but not in the way peaceful, but rather dead. From time to time we see some random people wandering around, some cars passing by, but this is, it's hard to handle, guys, this, absolutely. And I can even imagine how is it for local residents who used to stay here, who used to, you know, spend their childhood. It's at one moment all your life is simply stopped and you have to do something from scratch. It's still hard for me to think rationally once I see all of that, but it's important to tell you guys, remember that these things happen in Ukraine now. We just heard the explosions, seen people running, and probably it's time for us to leave too. Shit. That was kind of scary.
Just go, go, go. Quick.
So that's how it happens. You drive, you explore the area, you don't expect anything, and then boom! God forbid this happened in this situation, but that's how. And then, like, you stop thinking rationally. It's just like you just run. You just run and hope it will not land on you. Here in Kharkiv we met girls from Operational Aid Organization from Sweden. They brought a lot of medicine which we're going to deliver to local hospital, but also they got some food, and now we just stopped in the middle of the flea market in Kharkiv, just with their intention handing over different rather smaller things that people can use for their digestion needs, if it's possible to tell so. Let's see what they've got. So you see we parked in the middle. It's a pretty busy place all around, and yeah, that's how it works basically. I'm pretty surprised. So what you got? Snickers?
Snickers,
yeah, just chocolate, some protein, this, some kids. Please take it guys, welcome. There are some even clothes, but rather food is the most important. Here it's written Рынок старых речей, which means the market of old things. Yes. It's getting more and more active. I'm pretty surprised actually how it happens. And looks, the things is working, yeah? You can see more and more people arriving. Now it's kind of chaotic, as you can see, but we still found a good place for that. And I have mixed feelings about this actually. I never thought we'll be doing something like this in Ukraine. But if people are in need, let them take everything, and I'm super grateful for Swedish girls and especially Ali from Operational Aid who actually make it happen.
There's a lot of people who don't have any food and they're just desperate to get something, anything.
Ali, what are you giving?
We're giving food, vitamins, hygiene products. People don't have anything. This area is so exposed for bombings every day, and people are just desperate and very grateful that somebody comes here at all, because the big organizations are not coming here. They're not here.
Good luck. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Stay safe.
You got rid of everything. It went.
So what is this? Like, in addition to food, you do some another medical stuff?
Yes, Operation Aid is always moving our positions forward, and we are seeing that there's a big, huge need, critical need of medical aids, medical equipment. So we arrived in Kharkiv today. We have contacted military hospitals, trauma hospitals, who receive a lot of wounded people. There are a lot of people dying and a lot of people are critically wounded. We brought to them today trauma equipment, emergency acute equipment, bandages. We have defibrillator, we have intravenous fluids. We are working very closely to doctors and field doctors to provide what they absolutely need most right now. So please help us, because it's critical need of medical equipment right now in several hospitals in Kharkiv. This medic, he's telling us the critical needs of, for example, trauma equipment at the front. It's the normal that we heard before, tourniquets, hemostatic bandages. All that is very needed. He's coming into Kharkiv to pick up also things from the hospital for other different kind of situations when people are wounded. So, and we're summarizing this with, he haven't seen the large organizations here. They're non-existent. They are not here, they're not helping, not Red Cross, not UNICEF, not UNHCR. It's also like confirming what we have been trying to say, that the small organizations are getting here, but the large ones are just not here. Thank you.
So do I understand correctly that this goes to the military facility?
It will be divided to two things. The more trauma things will go to the military hospital, and the things that will be more for long stays of people that are ill, it will be to the main hospital, just in
The
Kharkiv.
civilian one?
Yes, civilian.
And no, it's important because you've seen, you were following us around Kharkiv, and as guys, and I just want to remind you that this city is every day being still under attack. Even though we stay here, even though a few hundred or thousands of residents still remain in Kharkiv. It's really impressive to see how people are keeping up with all the hardships, that they try to continue running their businesses despite all the difficulties. And actually, we found even a functioning hotel over here, which is a very high standard. It's a 4-room hotel. Because of the situation in Kharkiv, not many of those accommodation places are operating. Also, they have to discount the prices. But what's inspiring is that how they still keep the level of their service, of their customer communication, how they keep up everything tidy, and even providing a very, very decent breakfast when it's not easy to get food in the city. So this is like truly a heroic way to keep up on going in such a crucial situation. Thank you, 4-room hotel, and if you'll be in Kharkiv in this difficult time, please consider you might stay also here. Okay, great service. Thank you very much. Stay safe, and I'm happy that you continue operating. This is the backyard of the hotel. So basically, we park our car here, which is kind of protected, very squeezed between the buildings, as you can see. And to tell the truth, there are not many customers in the hotel, even though I consider ourselves lucky that we found this place, which actually happened because our prior booked apartment was destroyed, as crazy as it sounds. And you might be wondering, who are the clients now here? So we just met 2 girls there on a breakfast that came here in order to help evacuate from the Kharkiv military hospital to Kyiv a husband, one of those girls. He's in a very bad condition, and they're very afraid for him because he cannot move. So if there is some kind of explosion happening in the military hospital, which is obviously one of the primary targets, he will not be able to help himself. So now they're trying to look for any kind of options to organize a helicopter from Kharkiv to Kyiv. Those are the situations, guys, that people currently here are dealing with.